first step to putting up Answer panels is you want to start by putting up all the black iron pieces. These pieces are going to be the frame of the panel. So what you have is you have junctions or uprights that make connectors. This junction is what they call a two-way, 90 degree. What I like to do before I start is take the junction and put the glide up about 3 threads so that everything starts out all the same height. And then after you get it up, you can level it based on inconsistencies in your floor. The other piece to the black iron is the crossbars. The crossbars have a lever on them that acts as a lock. You want to open that lever up and you want to put it, there's 4 feet that you want to put in the corresponding holes on the junction. So I like to start with a 2-way or a 3-way, some kind of a corner, and get that up. In our application, we're going to use a monolithic fabric skin that covers the majority of the panel. Although sometimes you can have a situation where you have a framed glass stacker. When you have a framed glass stacker, you put the crossbar in lower and the stacker sits on top of the crossbar. This time we don't have a stacker, so we're going to put our crossbar at the highest position that you can see the holes in the junction for. Okay, so we got our black iron up. Next, I was going to talk to you a little bit about the power. So the power way sits on this trough, and it's got a long end, and it's got an end with a couple of hooks. The receptacle goes with the dots up. Put it in the power way and slide it over into place. The next step is we dress the panels. The best way to dress the panels is you start with the pieces at the bottom and you work your way up. The faceplate will have perforations in it that you can hit with a screwdriver and a hammer and knock these pieces of metal out where you have receptacles. So now we put the base plates on. A little pro tip here, especially when you're reconfiguring or you're using furniture that's been put together once before, occasionally the base plate will not fit very tightly on the skin. Don't even need a pair of pliers, just ever so slightly bend that tab up and it'll snap right on. Okay, so the base plates are installed. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the fabric skins. It'll have a black bar that runs across it. This is the bar that the top cap hooks into. So this is the bar that goes up. Okay, skins are on. Before we put the top trim on, we want to put the trim on the junctions, the painted trim on the junctions. So this is an end to run painted trim, and then we have trim for the back of the 2-ways. Some of the newer versions will have hooks in them that you'll have to come down on some corresponding holes on the junction. All right, the junction covers, the painted trim for the junction covers is on. Now we're gonna work on the top trim. The top trim consists of a few different parts. The junction covers for the 2-ways, 3-ways, and 4-ways that look like this. If the panels on either side of the junction are the same height, then you'll use this piece and you just put it in, one for a 2-way, another one for a 3-way, another one for a 4-way. For oval trim molding, there is a bottom piece, a receiver piece for the bottom of a junction. Square and thin trim, the other 2 trim styles won't have this bottom piece. It'll just sit down there flush. This is the junction trim, and it's going to go right here. This little piece is a inline top cap aligner. It just rattles 2 top caps that are going in a line to keep everything nice and straight. Something to mention on the 2-way and 3-way painted trim, it'll go on both ways, but if you're finding that it's not lining up on the top quite right. It's off by like a ½ inch. It's probably because this is upside down and you just need to turn it over. All right, now we've got the top trim on. All of our panels are up. Now we got to work on the components. Unlike the panels where we dress them from the bottom up, with the components, it's easiest to dress them from the top down. So I have an overhead shelf. I'm going to put it on first, and then we'll place the pedestals, the cantilevers, and screw the tops down. Now we're going to place the peds. Today we're using a floor supported pedestal, so this will help support the work surface. First thing you want to do is pull the drawers out. There's a little tab on each side, right where the glide is staged. You just push the tab in on both sides at the same time. Pull on the drawer, and it cuts out just like that. Now we're going to add the cantilevers. The cantilever is a two-part cantilever. You have the support piece and you have the top plate. The top plate can be configured for left, for share, or for right. All right, so we're going to put the second cantilever in now. And since we're going to have a return top and a main top here, and this will be on the seams. Cantilevers are in. Real quick before I put the tops on top of everything, I'm just going to glide these peds up to that 27.5 now, so that when we set the tops down, everything's nice and wet. We got the peds in place, we got the cantilevers in place, everything's set to the same height. Now we can drop our tops. All right, the tops are dropped. Now we're going to screw them in. One thing to really make sure of is that you're using the right screws. They need to be shorter than your top is thick so that they don't come up through the top of the laminate. Now we screw down the cantilevers and we use a flat plate right here in the front to make this seam nice and strong. Tops are all screwed down, heads are fastened. Now we just have to put in the drawers and we're all done. And there you have it, a completed Steelcase Answer workstation from the ground up.